The phone rings at 3 a.m. We all know what that means. Something has gone terribly wrong. The voice on the other end, trembling with regret, belongs to someone who has just realized they've wasted decades of their life trying to fulfill other people's expectations. They've climbed the corporate ladder, bought the big house, married the right person, and followed every rule society laid out for them. Yet here they are, in the darkest hour of the night, finally facing the truth they've been running from. They've never truly lived for themselves. That late night call? I receive them more often than you might think. And each time the story is heartbreakingly similar. These are successful people by society's standards, accomplished professionals, dedicated parents, respected community members. But in the quiet moments, when the world's noise fades away, they feel an emptiness so profound it finally forces them to reach out, desperate for answers. Here's what I tell them, and what I want to tell you right now. The most tragic thing in life isn't failing to achieve your dreams. It's succeeding at goals that were never truly yours to begin with. Think about that for a moment. How many of your current goals, your daily actions, your life choices are genuinely yours? How many are simply echoes of expectations planted in your mind by parents, teachers, society, or the endless stream of social media telling you what a successful life should look like? You're sitting here right now, and I want you to feel something stirring deep within you. That subtle discomfort you might be experiencing, that's your authentic self trying to break free from the prison of others' expectations. That little voice you've been silencing for years. It's time to let it speak. Let me share something profound with you. The universe doesn't make mistakes. You weren't born to live someone else's life. You weren't given your unique combination of talents, passions, and perspectives just to suppress them in pursuit of what others think you should be doing. Every morning, millions of people drag themselves out of bed, commute to jobs they hate, work on projects they don't believe in, and come home too exhausted to pursue what truly lights them up inside. They tell themselves this is just how life is. They convince themselves that their dreams are unrealistic, that their passions won't pay the bills, that it's too late to change course. But here's the truth that society doesn't want you to realize. Living for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's not just about your happiness. It's about your contribution to the world. Because when you're living authentically, when you're aligned with your true purpose, you naturally create value for others. You inspire them. You show them what's possible. Think about the people who have most profoundly impacted your life. Were they the ones who played it safe, who followed all the rules, who lived according to others' expectations? Or were they the ones who dared to be different, who pursued their passion, regardless of what others thought, who lived life on their own terms? The greatest tragedy isn't dying. It's dying with your music still inside you. It's reaching the end of your life and realizing you never really lived. You never took that risk. You never wrote that book. You never started that business. You never told that person how you felt. You never moved to that city. You never explored that passion. You never became who you were meant to be. I see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. Good. That discomfort is the first sign of awakening. It's your soul's way of telling you, yes, this message is for you. Some of you might be thinking, but I have responsibilities, I have bills to pay, I have people depending on me. I hear you. And I'm not suggesting you abandon your responsibilities. I'm asking you to examine them. How many of your perceived responsibilities are real? And how many are self-imposed limitations? How many of your I can't statements are actually I won't statements in disguise? How many of your someday dreams could begin today with just one small step in the right direction? The truth is, most people don't fail to fulfill their purpose because of external circumstances. They fail because they never truly decide to succeed. They let their dreams remain in the comfortable realm of someday. They wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. They wait for permission they don't need. They wait until the fear goes away, not realizing that fear never goes away. Just learn to dance with it. Right now, in this moment, I want you to feel the weight of time. Feel the precious nature of each breath you take. Feel the urgency of your own existence. Because while we sit here, time is passing. While we contemplate change, life is happening. While we wait for the perfect moment, our one wild and precious life is slipping through our fingers. It's not too late. It's never too late to begin living authentically. It's never too late to reclaim your power, to realign your life with your true purpose, to start living for yourself. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to let them sink deep into your being. Don't just answer them intellectually. Feel them in your gut, in your heart, in your soul. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What dreams have you buried under layers of practicality and others' expectations? What makes you come alive but you've been too afraid to pursue? What would your life look like if you lived it entirely for yourself, not for the approval of others? The answers to these questions hold the key to your liberation. They point to your true north, your authentic path, your real purpose. But here's the catch. Knowing the answers isn't enough. You must have the courage to act on them. Living for yourself requires courage. It requires the courage to disappoint people, the courage to be misunderstood, the courage to fail publicly, the courage to succeed in ways that might make others uncomfortable, the courage to outgrow relationships that no longer serve your growth, the courage to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. You might be wondering, what does it actually mean to live for yourself? Let me tell you what it's not. Living for yourself isn't about being selfish. It's not about ignoring your responsibilities or hurting others. It's about aligning your outer life with your inner truth. It's about making choices that honor your authentic self while contributing to the greater good. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your true self, you're saying no to something that does. Every hour spent living someone else's dream is an hour lost living your own. Every day you spend trying to meet others' expectations is a day you'll never get back. Let me share something powerful with you. The world doesn't need more people living lives of quiet desperation. The world needs more people who have come alive, because when you come alive, you light the way for others. When you honor your truth, you give others permission to honor theirs. Think about the message you're sending to your children, your loved ones, your community. When you deny your authentic self, you're teaching them that it's okay to live a life of compromise. You're showing them that dreams are meant to be abandoned. That passion is a luxury. That settling is acceptable. But what if you showed them something different? What if you demonstrated that it's possible to live with courage, to pursue your dreams, to honor your truth? What if your life became evidence of what's possible when someone decides to stop wasting their precious time and start living authentically? The excuses we tell ourselves are just fear, wearing a mask of practicality. I'm too old. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have the right connections. I'm not talented enough. These aren't facts. They're stories we tell ourselves to stay comfortable in our discomfort. Your current life is the result of choices you've made. Yes, circumstances play a role. Yes, some people have advantages, others don't. But within whatever circumstances you find yourself, you always have the power to choose. You have the power to choose your response, your attitude, your actions. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can continue living on autopilot, following the script others have written for you. Or you can choose to write your own story. You can choose to take one small step toward authenticity, one small step toward your dreams, one small step toward living for yourself. The path of authenticity isn't always easy. When you start living for yourself, some people won't understand. Some might criticize you. Some might try to pull you back into old patterns. This is normal, part of the process. Remember, action says more about their own fears and limitations than adopt. What these critics don't understand is that when you truly live for yourself, you become more, not less. You become more generous because you're operating from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You become more compassionate because you're no longer projecting your own unfulfilled dreams onto others. You become more effective because you're aligned with your natural gifts and talents. Let me tell you about energy. When you're living authentically, you have more energy. Why? Because you're no longer wasting energy pretending to be someone you're not. You're no longer wasting energy maintaining a facade. You're no longer wasting energy suppressing your true nature. This energy becomes available for creation, for contribution, for impact. When you're aligned with your authentic self, you naturally want to make a difference. You naturally want to serve others. You naturally want to leave the world better than you found it. Consider that every great advancement in human history came from someone who dared to think differently, to challenge the status quo, to live authentically. Every piece of art that moves us, every invention that improves our lives, every positive change in society came from people who chose to live for themselves rather than conform to others' expectations. The world needs your authentic self. It needs your unique perspective, your unique gifts, your unique contribution. But it can't receive these gifts if you're busy trying to be someone else. It can't benefit from your uniqueness if you're suppressing it to fit in. Look around you. Look at the people sitting next to you. Each person in this room has something unique to offer the world. Each person has dreams that deserve to be pursued. Each person has a truth that deserves to be honored. But here's the challenging part. No one can live authentically for you. No one can pursue your dreams for you. No one can honor your truth for you. These are choices only you can make, actions only you can take. The cost of not living for yourself is far greater than any risk you might take in pursuing your authentic path. The cost is your life energy, your potential, your happiness, your peace of mind. The cost is the regret you'll feel looking back at a life half lived. So let me ask you, what would change in your life if you started living for yourself today? What would you do differently if you stopped seeking approval and started seeking authenticity? What would you attempt if you knew that living true to yourself was more important than succeeding in the eyes of others? The answers to these questions are the beginning of your liberation. They're the first steps on the path to living a life that's truly yours. But remember, insights without action are worthless. Knowledge without implementation is just entertainment. That's why I'm going to challenge you right now. I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Not to me, not to anyone else in this room, but to yourself. A commitment to stop wasting your life trying to meet others' expectations. A commitment to start living for yourself. The moment you decide to live for yourself, something magical happens. The universe conspires to help you, not in some mystical way, but in very practical terms. When you align with your authentic self, you start noticing opportunities you were blind to before. You start attracting people who support your vision. You start finding resources you didn't know existed. But first, you need to clear away the debris of other people's expectations. Think about your current life like a garden. Over the years, others have planted their seeds in your soil, their ideas of success, their beliefs about what's possible, their limitations. These plants have grown so familiar that you might mistake them for your own. It's time to become the gardener of your own life. Time to carefully examine each belief, each goal, each commitment. Ask yourself, is this truly mine? Does this align with my authentic self? Does this serve my highest purpose? Some of these beliefs are so deeply rooted that removing them feels like pulling up an old tree. It's uncomfortable. It might even be painful. But beneath that discomfort lies freedom. Beneath that pain lies possibility. Beneath that resistance lies your authentic life. Let me share something profound about resistance. When you feel resistance to living authentically, it's often not your own. It's the accumulated weight of social conditioning, family patterns, and cultural expectations. This resistance masquerades as wisdom, as practicality, as responsibility. It whispers things like, be realistic, and don't rock the boat, and what will people think? But here's the truth about being realistic. The most unrealistic thing you can do is to deny your authentic self. The most impractical thing you can do is to waste your life living someone else's dream. The most irresponsible thing you can do is to ignore the unique gifts you were meant to share with the world. Your authentic self isn't something you need to create. It's something you need to uncover. It's already there beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the masks you wear, beneath the roles you play. Your job isn't to become someone new. It's to strip away everything that isn't truly you. This process of uncovering your authentic self requires radical honesty. You must be willing to look at your life with clear eyes, to examine your choices without judgment but with fierce clarity, to question everything you've accepted as truth. Who would you be if no one had ever told you who you should be? What would you do if you weren't afraid of judgment? What dreams would you pursue if you knew that your worth wasn't tied to your success or failure? The answers might surprise you. They might even scare you. Good. Fear is often a compass pointing toward your true north. The things that scare you most are often the things that will help you grow the most. Living for yourself requires a fundamental shift in how you make decisions. Instead of asking what will others think, start asking what feels true for me. Instead of asking what should I do, start asking what do I want to do. Instead of asking what's practical, start asking what's meaningful. This shift isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming authentic. When you're authentic, you naturally consider others because compassion is part of your true nature. When you're authentic, you naturally contribute because creativity and generosity are part of your true nature. When you're authentic, you naturally make a positive impact because that's what happens when you align with your highest purpose. Think about water for a moment. Water doesn't try to flow. It simply flows because that's its nature. It doesn't worry about the right way to flow or whether its flow will please others. It simply follows its natural course, and in doing so, it nourishes everything in its path. You are like that water. When you live authentically, you naturally nourish others. When you honor your truth, you naturally inspire others. When you follow your path, you naturally light the way for others. Living for yourself isn't a destination. It's a practice. It's something you choose again and again, moment by moment, decision by decision. Some days it will feel easy, natural, flowing. Other days it will feel challenging, uncomfortable, even scary. The key is to keep choosing yourself, especially when it's difficult. Keep honoring your truth, especially when others don't understand. Keep following your path, especially when the way isn't clear. Every time you choose to live authentically, you make it easier for others to do the same. Every time you honor your truth, you give others permission to honor theirs. Every time you follow your path, you show others what's possible. This is how real change happens, not through grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but through consistent, courageous choices to live authentically, through daily decisions to honor your truth, through moment-by-moment commitments to be who you really are. The world doesn't need more people living lives of quiet desperation. It doesn't need more people sacrificing their dreams on the altar of others' expectations. It doesn't need more people wasting their precious life force trying to be who they think they should be. What the world needs is you, the real you, the authentic you, the you that emerges when you have the courage to live for yourself. What the world needs is your unique perspective, your unique gifts, your unique way of being in the world. Think about that for a moment. Feel the truth of it in your body. Let it sink into your bones. The world needs you to be you, not a better version of someone else, not a more acceptable version of yourself. Just you, in all your authentic, imperfect, magnificent uniqueness. There's a voice inside you that knows exactly what you need to do. It's been speaking to you all along, but perhaps you've become skilled at ignoring it. That flutter in your stomach when you think about making a change. That's the voice. That quiet whisper in the early morning hours. That's the voice. That persistent dream that won't let you go. That's the voice. This voice is your inner wisdom, your authentic self trying to guide you home to who you really are. The question isn't whether this voice exists. It's whether you're ready to start listening to it, whether you're ready to trust it, whether you're ready to act on what it's telling you. Let me tell you something about trust. Trusting yourself isn't about having all the answers. It's not about knowing exactly how things will turn out. It's about having the courage to move forward even when the path isn't clear. It's about believing that you have the resources within you to handle whatever comes your way. Think about how much energy you spend second-guessing yourself. Think about how much time you waste seeking approval from others. Think about how many opportunities you've missed because you didn't trust your own instincts. Now imagine redirecting all that energy toward actually living your life. Imagine using all that time to pursue your dreams. Imagine seizing those opportunities because you trust yourself enough to take action. The truth is, you already know what you need to do. You already know what changes you need to make. You already know what dreams you need to pursue. The question isn't what to do. It's whether you'll have the courage to do it. For something crucial to understand about courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite the fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Courage is understanding that your desire to live authentically is stronger than your fear of what others might. When you begin to live for yourself, something remarkable happens to your relationship with fear. Instead of seeing fear as a warning to stop, you begin to see it as a sign that you're growing. Instead of interpreting fear as a red light, you begin to see it as a green light. Fear becomes not an enemy to be avoided, but a companion on your journey to authenticity. Think about every significant growth experience in your life. Wasn't there fear involved? Of course there was. Because growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone. Growth happens when you're willing to step into the unknown. Growth happens when you're willing to risk being who you really are. Let me share something powerful about risk. The biggest risk in life isn't taking action toward your dreams. The biggest risk is reaching the end of your life and realizing you never truly lived. The biggest risk is looking back with regret at all the times you chose safety over authenticity, security over growth, others' expectations over your own truth. But living for yourself doesn't mean you have to make dramatic changes overnight. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow, end all your relationships, or move to a different country. Unless, of course, that's what your authentic self is calling you to do. What it does mean is starting to make choices that align with your true self. Small choices at first, perhaps. The choice to speak your truth in a meeting. The choice to spend an hour each day pursuing your passion. The choice to say no to something that doesn't serve your highest good. These small choices compound over time. Each authentic choice makes the next one easier. Each step toward your true self creates momentum. Each act of courage builds your trust in yourself. Every great achievement, every meaningful change, every personal transformation began with a single choice. A choice to listen to that inner voice. A choice to trust yourself. A choice to take action despite the fear. The people who live most fully, who make the biggest impact, who leave the most meaningful legacy, aren't necessarily the most talented or the most privileged. They're the ones who chose to live for themselves. They're the ones who had the courage to be who they really are. They're the ones who decided that living authentically was more important than living safely. Your life is speaking to you right now, in the restlessness you feel, in the dreams that won't let you go, in the dissatisfaction with the status quo. These aren't signs that something is wrong with you. They're signs that you're ready for more, ready to live more authentically, ready to express more fully, ready to contribute more meaningfully. But here's the catch. Nothing will change until you change. Your life won't become more authentic until you become more authentic. Your dreams won't become reality until you take action to make them reality. The universe responds to action. It responds to courage. It responds to commitment. When you take one step toward your authentic self, the universe takes 10 steps toward you. When you make one choice in alignment with your truth, new possibilities open. When you take one action toward your dreams, resources appear that you couldn't see before. Think about the people you most admire. The ones who inspire you, the ones who make you believe more is possible. What do they all have in common? They live for themselves, they honor their truth, they follow their path. They might do it in different ways, in different fields, with different results. But the core is the same. They have the courage to be who they really are. You have that same courage within you. You have that same capacity to live authentically. You have that same potential to make a meaningful impact. The only question is, will you use it? Will you access it? Will you live from it? Right now, in this moment, something profound is happening. A shift is occurring within you. You can feel it, can't you? That stirring in your soul, that awakening of possibility, that recognition of truth. Your authentic self is rising, reaching toward the surface, ready to emerge. This moment isn't random. You're here because something inside you knows it's time to stop living by default and start living by design. Time to stop wondering what if and start asking why not. Time to stop wasting your life and start living it fully, authentically, powerfully. Let me tell you something about time. We often think we have plenty of it. We tell ourselves we'll pursue our dreams someday. We'll speak our truth someday. We'll live authentically someday. But someday is a dangerous word. Someday is where dreams go to die. Someday is the graveyard of unfulfilled potential. All we ever have is now, this moment, this breath, this opportunity to choose differently, this chance to align with our authentic self, this possibility to take action toward our dreams. Your life isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you, through your choices, through your actions, through your commitment to living authentically. Every moment is a choice point. Every decision is a declaration of who you are and who you're becoming. Think about the power of that. In this very moment, you have the power to change the entire trajectory of your life, not through some magical transformation, but through a simple decision to start living for yourself, to start honoring your truth, to start taking action toward your dreams. But here's what makes this moment different from all the other moments when you've thought about change. This time, you understand that living for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. This time, you recognize that honoring your truth isn't optional. It's essential. This time, you know that taking action isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself enough to begin. The world is waiting for your authentic self to emerge. It's waiting for your unique gifts to be expressed. It's waiting for your particular form of magic to be unleashed. But the world can't receive what you don't give. It can't benefit from what you keep hidden. It can't be transformed by what you're afraid to share. Your authentic self is like a seed within you. It contains everything needed to grow into something magnificent. But like any seed, it needs the right conditions to flourish. It needs the soil of self-trust, the water of commitment, the sunlight of action, and the nutrients of continuous growth. You spend enough time in the shadows of others' expectations. You've spent enough time dimming your light to make others comfortable. You've spent enough time playing small, playing safe, playing by rules that were never meant for you. It's time to step into your power. Time to claim your authenticity. Time to declare your independence from everything that's been holding you back. Time to release the weight of others' expectations. Time to free yourself from the prison of perfectionism. Time to liberate yourself from the cage of conformity. Remember this, the world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need another person trying to fit in. It doesn't need another soul suppressing their truth to maintain the status quo. The world needs you, the real you, the authentic you, the full. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. There are no practice runs, no trial versions, no beta tests. This is it. This is your one precious life. Each breath is a gift. Each moment is an opportunity. Each day is a chance to live more authentically, to express more fully, to contribute more meaningfully. The question isn't whether you have what it takes, you do. The question isn't whether you're worthy. You are. The question isn't whether it's possible. It is. The only question is, are you ready? Ready to stop wasting your life and start living it fully. Ready to stop seeking approval and start seeking authenticity. Ready to stop playing small and start playing full out? If your heart is racing right now, good. If you feel a mix of excitement and fear, perfect. If you sense that something is shifting within you, excellent. These are all signs that your authentic self is ready to emerge, ready to be expressed, ready to be lived. Take a deep breath. Feel the energy in your body. Feel the power of possibility coursing through your veins. Feel the strength of your authentic self rising within you. This is what aliveness feels like. This is what authenticity feels like. This is what living for yourself feels like. Now is your time, not someday. Not when everything is perfect, not when you have it all figured out. Now this moment, this breath, this opportunity to choose differently, this chance to live authentically, this possibility to create something magnificent with your life. The world needs what only you can give. It needs your unique perspective, your unique gifts, your unique way of being. It needs your courage to live authentically, your willingness to stand in your truth, your commitment to express fully. Your life is calling. Your authentic self is rising. Your time is now. The only question that remains is, what will you do with this moment? What will you do with this recognition? What will you do with this opportunity to stop wasting your life and start living it fully, authentically, powerfully? The choice is yours. It always has been. And now you know the truth. Living for yourself isn't just an option. It's the only way to live a life that truly matters. It's the only way to make the impact you were meant to make. It's the only way to become who you were meant to be. Rise now. Step into your power. Claim your authenticity. Live your truth. The world is waiting. Your life is waiting. Your authentic self is waiting. Don't keep them waiting any longer. The time is now. Your time is now. You're not just living for yourself. You're living for everyone who will be inspired by your courage to be authentic. You're living for everyone who will be touched by your willingness to be real. You're living for everyone who will be transformed by your commitment to live fully. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your life. Live it fully. Live it authentically. Live it powerfully. Live it for yourself. The world will be better for it, and so will you.